They told you not to wear long hair after 60. They said trendy styles are not for your age. And they warned you never to let your hair go gray. Sound familiar? For decades, women over 60 have been handed rules about how we should look. But let me ask you something. What if we stopped listening? What if you stopped trying to fit into a mold that was never meant for you in the first place? After working with women of all ages and all backgrounds, one thing has become clear. Real beauty does not follow rules. It does not care about trends. It comes from feeling like yourself, truly and deeply. Your hair is not just about appearance. It is a reflection of your story, your freedom, and your confidence. It carries memories, changes, seasons, and strength. And maybe, somewhere along the way, you stop seeing that. If you are over 60 and looking for a change that feels like coming home to yourself, you are in the right place. Because today, we are exploring 5 haircuts that do more than just flatter. They lift, soften, and celebrate who you are right now. These are real ideas, rooted in real stories, with practical advice you can use. Whether you are ready for a bold transformation or just curious about a gentle refresh. So settle in, take a deep breath, and let us begin. This is about more than hair. It is about coming back to you. 1. Embrace your natural texture. What if the very thing you have spent years trying to change is actually your greatest beauty asset? So many women were taught to control their hair, to straighten curls, flatten waves, or add volume to what was already straight. For decades, we were told that natural texture looked messy, unpolished, or not put together. But that message? It was never about beauty. It was about control. And at this stage of life, we do not need to be controlled anymore. I have worked with thousands of women over the age of 60, and the ones who shine the brightest are not the ones with the most perfect blowouts. They are the ones who let their hair breathe, who stop fighting it, who let it move freely and proudly as it is. One woman I will never forget is Ellen. She had naturally wavy hair, but spent almost 30 years straightening it. One humid day, after yet another frustrating battle with the flat iron, she sat in my chair and said, "I give up. What can we do?" I smiled and said, "We can stop fighting your hair. That is what we can do." We trimmed away the dry ends, switched to products that nourished her waves instead of flattening them, and let her hair air dry. A week later, she walked into the salon glowing. She said, "I feel like me again, and I did not realize how much I missed her." That is the magic of natural texture. When hair moves the way it is meant to, it looks alive. It reflects light. It softens your features. It whispers confidence, not just because it looks beautiful, but because it feels honest. Here is the truth. When we force our hair into something unnatural, it can age us. It highlights breakage, dryness, and stiffness. But when we allow it to do what it naturally wants to do, it adds softness and shine. It lifts us. If your hair is wavy, try a curl-enhancing cream to bring out that gentle movement. If it is curly, use a lightweight leave-in conditioner to define the shape without weighing it down. If it is straight, let it dry naturally with just a touch of serum for shine. And most importantly, give it time. If you have spent years using heat, your hair needs time to recover and find its rhythm again. And remember, this is not just about hair. This is about trusting who you are. It is about letting go of old rules and meeting yourself again, without resistance, without judgment. So let me ask you, when was the last time you let your hair just be? What is one thing you love about your natural texture? 2. Try a bixie. Have you ever wanted a fresh start, but you were not quite ready to let go of everything? That is exactly where the bixie comes in. The bixie is a beautiful blend of 2 classic cuts, the boldness of a pixie and the elegance of a bob. It gives you the freedom of shorter hair, but with enough softness and length to keep it feeling feminine and full of life. This is not just a trendy cut. It is a statement. It says, I am still evolving. And after 60, what a powerful thing to say. What makes the bixie so special is how it plays with shape and movement. The shorter layers around the crown add volume right where many of us need it most, especially if your hair has thinned over time. Meanwhile, the slightly longer pieces around the face bring softness, framing your features with grace and ease. I remember Patricia so clearly. She was 67, a retired executive, sharp and self-assured. She walked into my salon holding a magazine photo of a woman half her age with a stylish bixie cut. She laughed nervously and said, I know I am too old for this, but it is what I want. I looked her in the eye and said, You are not too old. You are just ready. We shaped the cut to suit her face, added gentle texture, and kept the lines soft and flattering. When she looked in the mirror, she gasped. But it was not just about looking younger. It was about recognizing herself again. That is what the bixie does. It brings back energy and playfulness without losing maturity or elegance. It is ideal for women who want something modern but manageable. And speaking of manageable, styling a bixie is refreshingly simple. Use a lightweight texturizing cream while your hair is still damp. Shape it with your fingers, let it air dry, or give it a quick blast with a blow dryer. That is it. You can be out the door in 5 minutes, looking like you spent half an hour in front of the mirror. You can personalize this cut in so many ways. Keep it soft and classic. Add choppy layers for edge. Even go slightly asymmetrical if you are feeling bold. The key is balance and confidence. If you are ready to let go of safe and step into something that feels alive and fresh, the bixie might be calling your name. So let me ask you, would you ever consider a shorter cut like this? Or have you tried something similar before? I would love to hear your story. 3. Add a fringe. Sometimes the smallest change makes the biggest difference. And when it comes to hair, nothing proves that more than adding a fringe. A fringe, also known as bangs, is not a dramatic haircut. You are not chopping off all your hair or changing your color. But somehow, when those soft strands fall gently across your forehead, the whole face lights up. It reframes how you see yourself and how the world sees you. You see, as we age, our faces change. Not in a bad way, but in a way that tells a story. Our foreheads may show lines from decades of smiling, frowning, wondering, and laughing. Our eyes might sit a little differently than they used to. And sometimes, the hairstyles that suited us in our 30s or 40s no longer bring out our best features. That is where a fringe becomes a quiet little miracle. A well-shaped fringe draws attention upward. It naturally emphasizes the eyes, the most expressive, beautiful part of the face at any age. It also adds softness to the face, balancing out lines or changes in contour that naturally happen over time. More than that, it creates movement. Light catches the hair, and suddenly there is energy again, youthfulness, spark. One woman I worked with, Eleanor, was 73 and had never tried bangs in her life. She had a high forehead, and she always believed she needed to hide it by keeping her hair long and flat across the sides. But she felt invisible. After a gentle conversation, she agreed to try a soft, side-swept fringe. Nothing heavy, just a light whisper across the forehead. When we turned her chair around to face the mirror, her hands went to her mouth. Then she said, "There I am. I have been missing me for years." It was not the haircut that moved her. It was the feeling of seeing something familiar, something she thought she had lost. Her reflection finally matched her spirit again. There are so many ways to wear a fringe, and the beauty is that it can be customized to fit your face, your lifestyle, and your confidence level. A side-swept fringe is subtle and elegant, perfect for square or oval faces. A curtain fringe, which parts down the middle and sweeps to each side, adds softness and dimension to heart-shaped faces. Wispy bangs can work wonders for finer hair, adding texture without weight. And if you want a bold, youthful look, a full fringe across the brow can be modern and striking. Just make sure it suits your personality and comfort. One important thing to remember is this: fringe cuts must be done with care. A fringe that is too thick or too short can actually highlight the features you are trying to soften. Always go to a stylist who understands how to work with mature features and can adjust the shape accordingly. And if you are maintaining your fringe at home between salon visits, invest in a proper pair of haircutting scissors. Never, ever use kitchen scissors. Use a vertical snipping motion instead of cutting straight across. That technique keeps the fringe soft and natural. Styling a fringe is easier than you think. Use a small round brush to gently shape it under while blow drying, or let it air dry and sweep it to the side with your fingers. You can even use a touch of lightweight cream or shine spray to keep the hair in place without stiffness. Now let us be honest, adding a fringe may feel scary, especially if you have never had one before. You may wonder, what if I hate it? But here is the beautiful part: hair grows. And in the meantime, you just might find something new and lovely in your reflection. So let me ask you, have you ever worn a fringe before? Was it a success, or did it leave you unsure? And if you never have, what is holding you back? I would love to hear your experience, because sometimes the smallest change is not just about how you look, it is about how you feel. And that little shift, that tiny line of hair across your forehead, might be exactly what brings your smile back to your eyes. 4. The mid-length cut with long layers. There is something so comforting about balance. Not too much, not too little, and in the world of hair, balance lives right here, in the mid-length cut with long face-framing layers. This style is gentle. It does not shout. It does not try too hard, but it speaks with grace, with movement, and with quiet confidence. It is the kind of haircut that does not take over your look. It supports it, enhances it, lifts it. For women over 60, this cut offers the perfect in-between. If you are not ready to go short, but long hair is starting to feel heavy or tired, mid-length is your answer. It usually falls somewhere between the collarbone and the top of the shoulders, long enough to feel feminine, light enough to feel free. And those long, subtle layers, they add movement without sacrificing fullness. What makes this cut so special is how it works with the natural changes in our face as we age. Over time, our features shift. Maybe our jawline softens, or we notice a little more fullness around the neck. These are not flaws. They are simply part of a well-lived life. But sometimes the hairstyles we used to love stop serving us the way they once did. The mid-length cut with layers helps gently redirect attention to the eyes, the cheekbones, and the natural glow we still carry. One of my clients, Barbara, a professor in her mid-60s, came in with hair that she had not changed in over 30 years. It was long, straight, and hung past her shoulders with no shape or life. "I do not feel like myself anymore," she told me. "I'm not ready to chop it all off, but I need something new." We gave her a mid-length cut with soft face-framing layers that started around the cheekbones. The change was subtle, but the result? Remarkable. She told me later that her daughter said, "Mom, you look lit up from the inside." And that is exactly what a good haircut should do. This style works on almost every hair type. If your hair is fine, we keep the layers light and mostly around the face, preserving volume at the crown and back. If your hair is thick, we can add more layering to remove weight and bring out natural texture. If it is wavy or slightly curly, the layers will encourage movement and bounce. Even straight hair benefits from the flow this shape creates. Styling is simple, too. You can blow it out smooth with a round brush for a polished look, or let it air dry with a bit of mousse for a more casual, lived-in feel. And because the cut is so balanced, you can still pull it into a low ponytail, clip it half up, or twist it into a quick bun. It is versatile, low maintenance, and endlessly flattering. Here is a little styling tip I always share. If you want that youthful, healthy shine, apply a small amount of silicone-free serum to the mid-lengths and ends while your hair is still damp. Just a pea-sized amount goes a long way. It smooths the strands, reflects light, and gives that soft, healthy finish that instantly adds energy to your look. Maintenance is manageable. A trim every 8 to 10 weeks keeps the shape fresh and prevents the layers from looking too grown out. It is not a style that demands your attention every morning, but when you do take a few moments for it, the payoff is beautiful. This is the kind of haircut that makes people say, "Did you do something different? You look great," without being able to point out exactly what changed. And that is the magic. It just feels right. So let me ask you, are you wearing your hair at a medium length right now? Have you ever thought about adding soft layers for a little more life and movement? If so, what has stopped you? I would love to hear your thoughts, because sometimes change does not have to be dramatic to be powerful. Sometimes it is about finding that perfect middle ground, not just on your head, but in your life. 5. The blunt bob or lob. There is something undeniably powerful about simplicity. A clean line, a strong shape, a look that says, without apology, "I know who I am." That is exactly what the blunt bob, or its slightly longer sister, the lob, can do for you. This style is timeless, elegant, and shockingly effective at making hair look fuller, healthier, and more youthful. But more than that, it sends a message. It says you are done following outdated beauty rules, and you are ready to wear your confidence on your shoulders. Literally. The blunt bob is a haircut that falls just above the shoulders with a straight, unlayered edge. The lob, short for long bob, sits right at the shoulders or just below. Both cuts share the same principle: clean lines, no layering, and a shape that creates structure and presence. What makes this cut so youth-enhancing is how it plays with illusion. As we age, our hair naturally becomes finer. We may notice less volume, especially at the ends. Layered cuts, while beautiful on younger, denser hair, can sometimes reveal that thinning more than they hide it. But with a blunt cut, every strand is cut to the same length, which gives the illusion of fullness and density. It is like magic, but it is really just smart design. I remember Margaret, 68, stylish but frustrated. She had gone to 3 different salons, and each stylist told her the same thing: you need a short, layered cut to suit your age. But that is not what she wanted. She came to me feeling unheard. I listened, and I suggested a sleek, blunt lob. No layers, just clean lines and a polished finish. She hesitated. "Won't it make me look too severe?" she asked. I shook my head. "Not if we shape it just right." We customized the length to sit perfectly at her collarbone. We added soft, side-swept bangs to open her face. 2 weeks later, she called me in tears. Happy tears. Her granddaughter had told her she looked 10 years younger, but more importantly, she said, "I feel like myself again." That is the power of the right haircut. The blunt bob or lob works well with most face shapes, especially oval, heart, and longer faces, and you can absolutely personalize it. Add a fringe to soften your forehead. Tuck it behind your ears for a clean, modern look. Even wave it lightly for a bit of texture and playfulness. It can be as polished or as relaxed as you want it to be. Styling is surprisingly simple. Because the cut is strong on its own, you do not need much to make it shine. A round brush and a blow dryer will give it that sleek salon finish. Or you can let it air dry and smooth the ends with a flat iron. The key is keeping the ends clean and even. That is where the structure lives. Here is a pro tip. When talking to your stylist, be specific. Say you want a completely blunt, unlayered baseline. Some stylists are used to automatically adding layers or texturizing the ends, thinking it adds movement. But for this look, less is more. Bring a photo if you can. And do not be afraid to speak up if they start point cutting into your ends. That breaks up the clean line you are going for. Maintenance is straightforward. A trim every 6 to 8 weeks will keep the shape crisp and strong. And because the style is structured, it holds up beautifully between visits. So now I ask you, have you ever tried a blunt bob or lob? Or has someone told you it was not age appropriate? If so, how did it make you feel? I would love to know. Because at the end of the day, your haircut is not about following trends. It is about finding the shape that reflects the woman you are today. Strong, beautiful, and fully yourself. Bonus. Small tips, big shifts. Sometimes, the biggest transformations begin with the smallest choices. A haircut might be the starting point, a new shape, a fresh look. But what often follows is even more powerful. A shift in how you care for yourself, how you see yourself, and how you carry yourself through the world. So, as we wrap up today's journey through hair, I want to offer you a few gentle reminders. Not rules, not instructions, just honest tips from years of listening, learning, and walking alongside women like you, women stepping into a new chapter with grace and courage. First, do not wait for permission to feel beautiful. You do not need approval from your stylist, your spouse, your children, or even the world outside your window. Beauty does not come from being told you have earned it. It comes from deciding, right now, that you deserve to feel good in your own skin. That decision changes everything. Second, care for your hair like you would care for a friend. Be gentle, speak kindly, nourish it, hydrate it, and protect it from harm. Stop punishing it for not being what it used to be. Like you, it has weathered seasons, storms, and sun. And it is still here, still strong, still yours. Third, make time for pleasure. Not just the necessary appointments, not just the touch-ups. I am talking about joy. Try a new product just because it smells lovely. Wrap your hair in a silk scarf that makes you feel elegant. Sit by the mirror one morning with a cup of tea and take 5 slow minutes just to style your hair, not to impress anyone, but to remind yourself that you matter. Fourth, surround yourself with voices that lift you. There is enough noise in the world telling women over 60 what we should not do. You do not need more limits. You need inspiration. Find the people, in real life or online, who remind you that beauty does not retire, that style does not expire, that confidence is not something you age out of, it is something you grow into. And finally, remember this, your reflection is not meant to look like the past. It is meant to reflect who you are now, the wisdom, the softness, the fire that still burns, quietly but steadily, in your eyes. You do not owe anyone your youth, but you do owe yourself your presence, your pride, your permission to feel alive. So whether you are trying a new haircut, embracing your silver strands, or simply looking at yourself with more kindness than yesterday, know this, you are not alone. And this journey, it is not about going back. It is about coming home to yourself. If you are still here, I just want to say thank you, truly. Thank you for giving yourself this time, for listening, for being open to change. I hope something you heard today gave you a spark, not just for a new haircut, but for something deeper, a moment of recognition, a quiet kind of courage. Because at the heart of all of this, the styles, the stories, the tips, is not just beauty. It is about feeling like yourself again, strong, present, worthy. And that feeling, it is not about age, it is about attention. When we take time to care for ourselves, to express ourselves, and to honor who we have become, that is where confidence lives. If one of these haircuts spoke to you, try it, or save it for when you are ready. You do not have to do everything at once. Start where you are. Start small. And most of all, be kind to yourself along the way. If you found value in this video, I would be honored if you subscribe to the channel. Every week, we create more content just like this, not just about hair, but about life, style, confidence, and joy after 60. You deserve to be seen, heard, and celebrated, always. And if you are curious about makeup that flatters mature skin or simple skincare routines that actually work, I have a few videos you might love. I will link them for you below. Until next time, take good care of yourself. You are more radiant than you know.